number 1.
Welcome to our Redox workshop tonight. We are so excited because we have discovered the biggest, most important breakthrough in health and science since penicillin DNA. And that's what we want to spend a little time working on today. Do you have a picture, Gloria, to show next?
Yeah, I do. Hold on just a second. I have to start something over here. Here we go. There we go.
Okay. Before you start this, we're just very privileged to have our friend Alan share just a brief intro on how important redox is and have some of the doctors share why they feel it is so important. And you might want to take down the web address, realredoxresults.com, and the password is Redox. There's another sister site with Real Redox Biz, and that's another wonderful one that Alan will mention. Go ahead and let's see what Alan has to say.
We need volume from Gloria.
Welcome to realredoxresults.com. On this website, you have access to lots of videos of real people sharing real results that they've experienced using ASEA's advanced redox signaling technology. You can simply browse through the videos or pick a particular subject that is important to you. However, if this is your first introduction to ASEA, then allow me to give you a brief overview so you can better understand why people are experiencing such amazing results. ASEA Redox represents a cutting-edge health and anti-aging technology, a new category in science that for 2 decades science had declared was impossible. A technology that many experts are calling the single greatest health science breakthrough of our lifetime. A great place to start is to get clear on what ASEA Redox is not. It is not a vitamin, a mineral, antioxidant, exotic juice, essential oil, or CBD oil. In fact, this technology goes beyond nutrition and ingredients, and yet can impact your health at a depth that no other supplement has ever come close to achieving. For many people, ASEA Redox is the missing link to better health and vitality. To grasp this breakthrough, you must understand that your body is the most complex communication network on Earth. Every second of every day, your cells pass tremendous amounts of important information throughout the body. Any breakdown in this communication, in this signaling, and you cannot achieve your full health potential. A simple example, your home goes on fire and you call the fire department. They have the fire truck, firefighters, fire hose, everything they need to put out the fire. However, if you don't have a good cell signal, they don't get the message and your home goes up in flames. Well, it's the same in your body. If your cells can't signal, then little else matters. ASEA Redox is the world's first redox signaling supplement that harnesses the power of the same redox signaling molecules that your body uses for this critical signaling process. This astonishing technology with 2 delivery systems, the ASEA Redox drink and the topical gel, Renew 28, has been validated by third-party independent science, and thanks to multiple patents, there is nothing else like it in the world. In a recent independent 8-week study with Torre Laboratories, a leading genetic research lab, it was found that drinking ASEA Redox could increase important gene signaling pathways by up to 31%, impacting 5 major areas of health: immune function, inflammatory response, cardiovascular and digestive health, as well as hormone balance. So at this point, let's take a listen to what health and medical professionals are saying about ASEA's redox signaling technology.
Inside every cell in your body, you're constantly producing negative and positive molecules called oxidants and reductants. And the contraction of that name is redox.
So with these molecules, we're amping up that communication. We're helping that cell signal.
Without these cell signaling molecules, we simply wouldn't do the gene replication that we need, the DNA sequencing that we need. These redox signaling molecules interact throughout the body with every cell that we know.
Every cell in our body needs these molecules for communication purposes. The more balanced they are, the more abundant they are, the healthier we are.
ASEA actually has the combination of the oxidants and the reductants that the body makes. So all we're doing with ASEA is enhancing what the body is already doing.
Having a product, a technology that's native to the body doesn't have to worry about detoxifying it because it knows exactly what to do with redox molecules. It's one of, if not the safest recommendation I ever make to a patient. They found a way to stabilize them outside the body. You can actually put them back into bodies that are deficient in those molecules. That's a game changer.
To have something that at its molecular level is native to the body is nothing short of a breakthrough. This is something that's foundational for health, for every cell. It affects every cell in our body, and not just the cells, but the very DNA within those cells. You know, we talk about the discovery of DNA as being a huge breakthrough, the discovery of penicillin. Yes, these were absolutely huge discoveries, but now we have something that actually goes even deeper.
Redox signaling molecules are like the DNA whisperer. They signal cells to be healthy. And because of age, because of medications, because of toxicity in the environment, you lose your ability to make the redox signaling molecules. So having them with ASEA simply replenishes what your body is doing natively when you were young. You know, I've been in the business for 40 years, and this is the first time that I've ever heard about the redox signaling molecules, which to me is a breakthrough of the 21st century, akin to the electric light bulb in the 20th century and maybe even the discovery of penicillin, because your body is a redox signaling program, and to be able to replenish it on a day-to-day basis, internally and externally, is not just a breakthrough, it's a game changer.
So as you can hear, ASEA Redox truly is being hailed as the most significant health science breakthrough of our lifetime. And it's not just health. Casual athletes all the way to Olympic athletes are experiencing improvements in endurance, strength, and recovery, beating personal bests and breaking documented world records. In a recent university study, mice drinking ASEA for only 7 days ran 29% further to exhaustion due to significant metabolic shifts as their body started to burn more fat as fuel. And I'm sure you've heard it said that seeing is believing. Well, this same technology, when applied to the skin, results in a healthy, clear complexion, tighter, younger looking skin, while dramatically reducing wrinkles, stretch marks, cellulite, and many other signs of aging, all while using the body's natural renewal processes. I want to thank you for taking some time and watching this brief overview. I would now encourage you to explore some of the other videos featuring people that I've had the pleasure of interviewing over the last year or so. Real people sharing real redox results. This is Alan Noble thanking you for your time today, and bye for now.
There we go. Well, actually, we were going to just stop our share for a moment. If I can find my stop share. There we go. Back to you, Marian.
Okay, well, signaling is so important. And we're just so fortunate to be on the forefront of this and be able to experience it ourselves. Mary has had amazing experiences with redox. Mary, can you tell us a little bit about your story and why it's important to you?
Marian, thank you. So happy to be here. This has been an amazing thing for me. I was diagnosed 25 years ago with a deteriorating memory, deteriorating functioning, and unable to work in an office anymore. Those kinds of things got me into a very deep, deep depression. And I had friends and family who were not supportive at all. They wondered what was wrong with me. Well, I did too. Well, anyway, it was because I was losing that job after job, that depression sent in. And I also had a session of feeling very helpless and not knowing what to do. Friends suggested that I check with Marian Palmer. She might have something that might be able to help me. And of course, she's teaching about redox molecules. And redox molecules is a product called ASEA in another language. And I thought, well, maybe I should try this. And as I was drinking this supplement day after day, 4 ounces in the morning, 4 ounces in the afternoon, I noticed I was having a difference. I noticed that my depression was going away. I was noticing that I was a little bit more friendly with people. And as time went on, I went ahead and I decided that I had a change and what was happening with me. And so I realized that the mental functioning was returning and that my memory was returning, and that I was going to be willing to work with ASEA to help other people find their situation being helped by ASEA. So that is what I'm doing now, and is just so glad to be a part of the group.
Thank you, Mary. And isn't that what happens is that when we have wonderful success and changes because of ASEA, we just can't keep it a secret. And you have touched so many lives. And I also want to introduce David. He has a background in being a pilot and building houses, and just a very gifted and talented man. Would you like to share one of your ASEA stories?
Sure, I will. And this is the one I'm going to talk about. It's a vitamin that ASEA carries called Lybecker. I loaded up a 3/4 ton pickup that I have with a load of dirt that I needed to spread out in my yard. Starting in the afternoon, I unloaded the truck and continued all the way through until it was done. To my surprise, the next day, I woke up with zero pain, zero stress. Now, I got to tell you, I'm 73 at that time. When I was 30, it would take me a full day to unload a truck of that with breaks in between. And on Lybecker, I can just tell you that's the only thing I can attribute it to. I was totally pain-free and was able to work continuously through the afternoon.
Isn't that amazing? Thank you, David. I think you've got a picture of my dog, or go ahead, Rosie or my dog, whichever one we want to talk about first.
All right. Well, we want to share about Rosie because she's really an inspiration to all of us. This image shows Rosie when she started out first with the Redox, 4 ounces a day, and using 2 tubes of the Renew 28 a month. And at 84, she didn't think it was doing much for her. Fortunately, her son had taken a before picture, and at 7 weeks, she was surprised to see the difference. Rosie's continued on, and as you can see over the years, she's also continued to reverse age. And at 91, she is just stunning. So she's quite an inspiration to all of us who are on this path with ASEA.
I love the anti-aging part too. I want to share one of the most stressful times in my life. This is my dog, Rex. And Rex was having a minor ear problem. They needed to be cleaned. He had a little infection, but he is a big dog and he was not about to have Marian clean it. So we had a vet come to our home, and We tried to hold Rex, but he was just didn't want anyone to touch his ears. So the vet gave him a shot that was supposed to relax him. He stopped breathing. His heart stopped. There was no motion. There's no signaling. And I started giving him artificial respiration. The doctor ran out to his car to get a special apparatus to put in his mouth to do that better. And then it was 5 to 10 minutes and there was nothing. Finally, he did start breathing, but it was just so passive, just hardly anything there. I got my spray bottle of ASEA and started spraying it in his mouth, just rubbing him down with it. And finally, his eyes began to flitter. And I mean, that was like a half hour. We had to roll him over every 5 minutes just to keep the body moving. And within a couple hours, we had our dog back. I don't think we would have without ASEA. I want to introduce Jerry White, one of our wonderful friends, mentors, and teachers. He was a head research physical therapist at the Shriners Hospital, founder of the performance lab at the hospital and Gait analysis lab. He loved working with those amazing, amazing kids. Adjunct professor in biomechanics and physiology. And then on the other spectrum, he was a swim and triathlon coach and is an athlete himself. He's on the medical board for ASEA. He's an ambassador diamond, which is one of our top people in ASEA, and he's in the Millionaires Club. We're just so fortunate to have our friend with us. Jerry, it's up to you. Welcome. You're muted.
You can have all those accolades and not know how to do the simplest things. Well, I am very glad to see you all here tonight. I'm excited. Now I know if my ticker stops, I call Marian or Rex and stay away from vets. But this is really something. This is a technology that changed the course of everything that I did. Physics is concerned. It's very interesting. I have spent about 9 years now, in large measure, because the first time I ever tried this technology, I could actually, I could do repeated lap swims. So you do 100 yards and take your time or check your watch and get a given rest and then do another one and do another one. And I mean, I've been doing this for 50 some years and I know exactly how long it takes and what the stress is on the system. And I was astounded to note that with drinking the ASEA, my heart rate was 4 beats a minute lower while I was going I was 10 beats a minute slower, going 4 seconds faster. And 4 seconds is a big deal. When you get faster, when you're older. And it just stuck in my head. And I played that and I played that and I played that. But it wasn't until our family had a very serious kind of illness in our family. My daughter was going to go off to college and she was flat on her back. She couldn't even open her eyes. 3 or 4 infections on top of one another. And she only had a couple of days before we headed off to school. Short of that story is that once she started to use this technology, within 3 days, she was up and around and off to Phoenix, Arizona. She went off of it for a day or two. While we were driving to Arizona, thought, wow, she was great. But then it hit again and she was flat down. Went back on it. Within 6 hours, she was up and running again. Went on, graduated with honors, and she's an amazing mom with a couple of kids nowadays. It struck in our family very, very significantly. My wife at 63 this year could barely get around the block in her original efforts to try to do the short mini triathlons. And that was a 3-mile run where she was really not much able to run a couple of steps in a row. And while she was doing that, she was wheezing in her lungs and actually had a lot of people stop and offer to let her use their inhaler. Now, that's not supposed to happen. The doctor's supposed to write you a prescription for your inhaler. You're not supposed to give it to somebody else. But big, you know how ladies are, they're kind of big-hearted and helping out. But she got her way through it. And over the course of time, as we began to use this on a regular basis, just drinking it, she started going a little farther and a little farther. And she started doing some running. And here, then just this last year, she completed a full, what they call the full Ironman, 140.7 miles with a 26-mile Olympic marathon at the end. It's astounding. We seem to be able to make people remember how their bodies used to work when they were young. So here's what I recommend. I left that whole study of physical therapy and teaching medicine because there was a new horizon, one that is actually bigger than anything I could ever imagine. There were so many gaps in what we understood about how our lives get more complicated. We're immersed in more, we got more poisons and more kinds than we ever had in history. There's 180,000 chemicals that have been created since 1900 that all are toxic. We know now that there are as many as 40 different toxic, almost supremely toxic materials that pass through the umbilical cord from mother to baby. Even the things as innocuous as the fire retardant in your pajamas is not supposed to be in people. We also have air pollution, light pollution, sound pollution, too little sleep, not enough exercise, too little junky food. We pull the nutrients out of our food. Imagine the stresses that are coming from every possible direction. So light pollution, sound pollution, noise in your neighborhood, and the stressors of life as we pull apart from one another. Well, it's time for us to change that. And in our family, we picked up and chose to move forward. It's been the greatest area of change in our entire life. There's just many different aspects to what this did. At first, like many people, it was just oriented toward improving our health. And has it done that in spades? Number two, we found too on animals, surprisingly effective, because here's the connection. Every living thing is made of cells, and those cells have to make their own energy. What we're reintroducing back to the body is a series of molecules that are made during that energy production process that we start to lose as we age. In fact, we found that that is the reason that we age. Imagine being able to resupply into your cells something that allows them to go, we used to do this all the time and we didn't make any mistakes. We did it well, we did it quickly, we did it fast. In fact, the cells literally made an entire human being from a single cell with the same DNA in each of them. Now we're able to describe things like, why does one cell split into two daughter cells, each with the same DNA, and one starts to become an entirely different system in the body than the other? We didn't know how that worked. We didn't know how the stem cells were awakened and created and sent to the spots where they were needed. We didn't know how they got information on where to stop or what to become. We now have the answers. It's in this brand new science. Well, what made sense to us was to go a third step, rather than just our own personal health and the health of our animals, rather than the athletic changes that we've seen, in which I'll tell you an exciting part from this last week. We have the United States women's track and field coach for the 2021 Olympics and the 2024 Olympics, the head coach of the United States women's track and field team, that we were running around the country, signing up multiple world record holders and a past Olympic gold medalist in an effort to bring it to the people. And you know what's interesting? So far, this group of 4 amazing, courageous people that you see here, other than me, but probably including me too, has done more to advance this than they have. Now we got to get on our horse and pony and ride pretty quick, because they may have a heck of a run coming up pretty soon. But we're now experienced, educated. We have a caring and know about real people. And we found that people who have a heart and people who have a vision can't be stopped. And when you pull them together and teach them to work in teams, we start to reverse this, the separateness that has become a part of our lives with computers and all. And people are yearning to make a difference together, to be able to make a living, perhaps. That's the other options that we provide. So I want each of you to consider this. Some of you might want to help pay for this material as you use it. Get enough to make a difference. Use it long enough. Your body's going to have to go to work, and we're just allowing it to be aware that it needs to work, what it needs to work on, and then decides how to use the materials we put in it. It was missing that. It was losing that as we began to age. We put it back in. Guess what? It's going to take a little bit of time for it to do its work. Some things will work quickly, and if you really work fast, we'll always tell you it only works on the most intelligent people. But if you weren't one of those intelligent people, you probably wouldn't have turned on this channel anyway. So here it is. We have an opportunity for the first times in our lives to gather together with people from every walk of life, as quality as we could find. Each one, we said, we're going to give you the option to buy worldwide distribution rights for $40, which means that as you go about your life, you can find some people for whom you can provide these pretty much life-saving technologies to, and receive a little bit of check kickback for the process of doing that. And there's a fascinating way in which we can work together to get this to the world. We teach an educational system that in my life, I would add 15 years of postgraduate work, and they never once taught me in any class in school how to make a living. Well, guess what? Had they done it, that would be redundant today. So what we've had to teach ourselves was how people will make a living in the future. So for those who are so inclined, you can jump on the wagon and join us and develop the ability to make a small side income or a massive income, your choice, as we go about creating something. And the greatest gift that I believe we can provide to other people is the ability to know that if you lost your job when you're standing up for principles, you lost your job because you broke your finger and you're a painter, you lost your job for any reason, you can start today and start to rebuild because you learned how to do it. So those options are available to you. And at the time you do that, those who are going to be enrolling and picking up this technology, there are several packets. Talk to the person that brought it you here, and remember, get enough to make a difference. Work on it for about 3 months. Thanks for being with us. And I'm going to kick this back to these capable and amazing leaders in this call.
Thank you, Jerry. It's always a pleasure having you here with us. And thank you all for watching, and we will look forward to connecting with you soon.